Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. Today we are from Group 6 and Class JBA 2514A. We will be presenting about our company analysis group assignment. So here is our team members that consists of 5 people.
Hi, I will introduce what is in our presentation for today. This presentation reviews four Bursa Malaysia companies, Kerjaya Prospect, Sunway Construction, SD Guthrie, and Innoprice Plantation. Focusing on construction and plantation sectors, we analyze their stock performance from July 2024 to June 2025 by examining price trend, pattern, and key technical indicators. Stock movement were compared to the KLSE index to highlight investment opportunity and risk. The indicator used in this analysis is MACD, RSI, ADX, DMI, stochastic oscillator, 20-day and 100-day simple moving average, and Bollinger Band.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Fatin Karunisa binti Arifin. I will be presenting Kerjaya Prospect Group Berhad. Kerjaya Prospect with a stock code 7161 is a sector of construction and they are listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Security Berhad in 1996. In 2018, Kerjaya made its mark as a number 4 biggest construction in Bursa Saham Malaysia, and their mission is to pursue excellence in their business and be a responsible corporate citizens. And now, let's take a look at the comparison between Kerjaya and KLSE. According to the Star 2025, Kerjaya Prospect Group Berhad has shown a positive movement. And however, at the 11 September 2024, Kerjaya crossed over KLSE. However, overall, Kerjaya showed that this company is overperforming from July 1, 2024 until June 30, 2025. And now let's take a look at the trend analysis of Kerjaya Prospect. Kerjaya Prospect has experienced a primary downtrend starting the early 2025 until early June 2025. From this segment, this is proven when at the end of 2024, the Kerjaya managed to decrease their revenue since March 2024. And the factor primary downtrend, the first one is operational factor, including slower physical progress of projects. Due to the rainy season, north monsoon, which usually hit in the first quarter of the year in Malaysia. And then the secondary trend is uptrend was found in early April till June 2025. This upward movement was followed by a correction pace early in this year. Now, we move to the price pattern of Kerjaya Prospect. I've managed to find two different patterns in this chart. The first one is bullish symmetrical triangle continuation pattern, and the second one is head and shoulder bottom pattern. The first pattern can be identified early August 2024 until the middle September 2025. As we can see, at the bullish symmetrical triangle continuation, the price successful breakout at the September 11, 2024 with a confirmation of volume spike. And then the second pattern is head and shoulder. It can be found on early March until May 2025, and they also successful breakout with a volume spike in May 13, 2025. And now we move to the technical overlay of Kerjaya Prospect. I've set two overlay, which is low SMA 100 and Bollinger Band. For SMA on the July 2024 until the early of 2025, Kerjaya Prospect is moving in uptrend direction. However, they're starting to reverse from April 3, 2025 until the end of the June 2025. Now, we're moving to the Bollinger Band. As we can see, on the June 30, the price is sideways and show a squeeze pace. However, this indicates investor to hold the stock. There are no confirmation or buying or selling signal. However, if tomorrow open price, break out the lower band. This indicate the investor to buy the stock. And last one, let's take a look at the technical indicator for Kerjaya prospect. I have set 4 different indicators for this stock. The first one RSI, second MACD, third one is stochastic, and last one is DMI. These 4 different indicators indicates investor to hold the stock. Why? Let's take a look one by one. The first one is RSI. RSI is 48.54 at the close, which is still not reach 50 zone for buying signal. For the MACD, there are no crossover between MACD and signal line. For the stochastic, the current price is not in overbought or oversold zone, so there are no buying signal. And the last one is for the DMI indicator, show the ADX is below 40, plus DY is below the minus D1, and there are no potential for a major breakout in the near future. So in the conclusion, this Kerjaya prospect stock indicates investor to strongly hold the stock.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Farida Fatihah binti Ismail, and for today I'm going to be presenting to you about company Sunway Construction Group Berhad. So, let's move on to the first one, which is the company background. Sunway Construction Group Berhad, which is known as Suncon, was established in 1981 and based in Selangor, Malaysia. It is a leading construction company offering services in building, civil engineering, geotechnical works, and MEP. It was listed on Bursa Malaysia since 2015. And Suncon is known for its expertise in precast concrete and use of advanced technologies like virtual design and construction (VDC). The company focuses on innovation, quality, and sustainability in landmark projects such as the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre and the Sunway BRT line. Next, let's do a comparison between Sunway Construction Group Berhad with KLSC. So as you can look at the chart actually compares the Suncon price performance with the FTSE Bursa Malaysia KSIC index from July 2024 to June 2025. Suncon outperformed the index from July to August 2024 and then underperformed from September to October 2024. And from October 2024 to June 2025, Suncon mostly outperformed except for a brief dip between January and February 2025. Overall, Suncon's share price rose sharply, which is over 50% from April 2025. Meanwhile, the index declined about 5%. The strong performance reflects a bullish momentum and investor confidence, indicating Suncon's solid technical position. Next, let's take a look at the trend analysis. As we can see from the chart, Suncon actually experienced a primary downtrend from January to May 2025, mainly due to a foreign fund manager locking in profit after a strong rally, causing a spike in sell volume. The global manufacturing contraction and weak US ISM index also reduced the construction demand. However, Suncon saw a secondary uptrend from February to March 2025, supported by a positive research report and a strong prospect in the data center sector, boosted by the rapid progress in the key project like the JHB1XO in Johor. Next, let's take a look at the pattern analysis. So, Suncon chart actually from late May to early June show a bullish flag pattern. It starts with a sharp price rise called a flagpole, followed by a brief sideways or downward consolidation forming the flag. This pattern signals a pause in the uptrend, often lasting less than a month, before the price is likely continue rising, indicating a strong bullish momentum and a continuation of a prior upward trend, which is the technical overlays. So the first one is the double moving average. Okay, as we can see from the chart, the double moving average DMA is actually a technical indicator that uses two moving average together to identify any potential trend and trading signal. The SMA 30 has a value of 595, while SMA 100 has a value of 495. Currently, there is no crossover between SMA 30 and SMA 100 line, so the investors are advised to hold onto their stock position. The next one is the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band is a technical analysis indicator that consists of three lines, which is the upper band, middle band, and the lower band. The upper band valued at 6.16, middle band has a value of 5.96, and the lower band is at 5.76. So currently the lower band is close to the price, which indicate that the market is in oversold region and potentially rebound into upward movement. But the upper band is also quite close to the price, so investor has to be careful in making any entry. Lastly, let's take a look at the technical indicator and oscillator. So the first one is the moving average convergence divergence, which is MACD. It is actually an indicator that generates a trading signal based on the crossover between MACD line and the signal line. When MACD line cross over the signal line, it indicates the buying signal. So based on the chart, the MACD line value at 0.180 and signal line showed value at 0.238. And there is no crossover happening, so the investor should hold on from making any entry. The next one is RSI. The Relative Strength Index is an indicator to measure strength and momentum of a stock price movement. So in this chart, the RSI is valued at 66.11, which means a strong bullish momentum, but not in overbought region yet. So the price may continue going up, but it is safer to just hold onto the stock position for now because there's no clear indicator for buying or selling signal. The third one is the ADX. So the Average Directional Index, ADX, is a technical indicator that measures the strength of a trend. As you can see from the chart, the ADX line is valued at 43.2622, which indicates a strong buying volume from Suncon. So next, the plus D value is at 25.8459, while negative D value at 16.5210. As we can see, there's no crossover happening between plus D and negative D, so the investor should hold onto the position. But since the plus D is above minus D, it indicates a bullish market. And lastly is the stochastic oscillator, which is a technical indicator used as to assess overbought and oversold conditions of a stock. So the percent K line value at 48.08, while the percent D value at 36.54. There is no crossover happening between percent K line and percent D line, so it shows no buying or selling signal. Moreover, both of these lines are not in oversold region, so investors should hold onto their position. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Now let's move to the SD card Berhad. So before we dive into the stock performance, let me briefly introduce the company. So SD card Berhad, formerly known as Sandabi Plantation Berhad, it is a leading Malaysian plantation company, and the company officially rebranded to the SD card on the 5 June 2024. So it is listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia under the stock code 5285. And the SD card is primarily involved in the cultivations of oil palm and the productions of crude palm oil CPO and palm kernel, the other downstream palm oil products. What set SDG apart is it is fully integrated operations, whereby it's covering the entire palm oil value chains from the upstream plantation to the downstream refining and distributions. So the company has a strong international presence. This is because it's operating not only in Malaysia but also in Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and the Solomon Island. So it's making one of the biggest, largest, fully integrated palm oil product produced globally. So now let's move to the stock performance, where this slide presents a comparison between the SD Katri Berhad stock performance and the KLSE index over the 1 year periods from 1 July 2024 to 30 June 2025. So during the initial period from 1 to 80 July 2024, SDG underperforms the KLSE index. So this was largely due to the investor uncertainty following the company's corporate rebranding from the Samdabi Plantations to the SD Country on the 5 June 2024. So the rebranding lacking a strong strategic communications, which may have unsettled the market. Additionally, so the SDG missed
its Q1 2024 earnings, reporting RM0.031 per share, that nearly to 51% below the expectations. The analysts also projected the weaker production in the second half of the year. This is due to the weather challenges and high base effects, especially in Indonesia and the Papua New Guinea. However, from the 19 July 2024 onward, SDG began to outperform the KLSE index. So its insignificance, this was driven by a series of strategic and the market positive developments. The key among them was the announcement of RM2.96 billion industrial park projects in Negeri Sembilan, where the SDG secured a 30% stake and immediate gain of RM277 million. So the company also launched a green industrial developments in Johor and Carey Island in a partnership with AME Elites and the Sunderby Property. Internationally, SDG also expands its downstream business by acquiring the 48% of stake in the Dutch firm Marvesa, strengthening its presence in the Europe and diversifying into the soft oil. Those moves were also supported by a strong fundamental, including 10% return on equity and 80% of net income growth. Over the 5 years, in the international institutions also confident, and EPF also increased its stake in the SDG. On a sustainability fronts, SDG made notable progress, including the first tariff on free palm oil shipment to the UK, completely free, and compliance with the EU deforestation regulations, enhancing its global trade profile. So overall, this strategic initiative and strong fundamental distributes to SDG overperformance and outpacing the KLSE index over the 1-year periods. Now, let's look at the trend analysis of SDG stock price over the past year. So, the chart shows a clearly primary uptrend from the 10 July 2024 to 23 June 2025, where the stock price rose steadily from around RM 4.21 to 4.57 and reached at peak at 5.15 in November 2024. So this trend is supported by a multiple touch along the side trend line that indicate a strong investor confidence and a sustained buying interest. So there are several key developments supported this uptrend, including the major industrial park project in the Carey Island and the Bukit Pelando, the strategic stake in the Dutch firm Marvesa in order to strengthen its global footprint, and also the company also maintained the dividends payout and attracted institutions' interest, especially from the Employees Provident Fund (EPF). So alongside this primary trend, we also observe a secondary trend or short-term pullbacks, which typically indicate healthy market. So the first occur between the 26th September and until 40 October 2024. That following a 36.75% drop in the quarter 3 net profits, there's no dividend declarations and a flat recurring earning, and also rising operating costs. However, while Malaysia's estates saw strong growth, but in Indonesia, we declined by the 70%, and there was also securities issued in the Papua New Guinea, which raised concerns about the production stabilities. In the second pullback from 30 to 28 November 2024, that was linked to the volatility in the global palm oil market and launch of SDG Beyond Zero sustainability frameworks, which, while positive long-term, but introduce a short-term uncertainty. The third is from the 10 to 26 December 2024, that was triggered by the flood in the Malaysia that cuts production and export, along with the negative publicities that from incidents of effluent discharge fine that happened in Sungai Linggi, although SDG announced a major new project during this time, which is industrial park project in Negeri Sembilan, and some investors reacted cautiously into it. So finally, the pullback from the 8 to 16 January 2025, that was due to the weak in demand from the Indian, where the palm oil imported hit a 5-year low. Despite these short-term corrections, the overall trend will remain strongly positive and reflecting the SDG resilience fundamental and the strategic directions. So now let's take a look at the price pattern that observed in the SDG stock chart. First, I have identified a bullish flag pattern, which is a continuation pattern that typically forms after a strong upward movement. In this case, the stock was already in an uptrend before for December 2024 that forming the flagpole. From 4 to 26 December, the price entered a consolidation phase, that creating a rectangular flag shape. Meanwhile, on the 27 December, the price broke above the uptrend line, that confirming the continuations of the bullish trend and suggesting the further upward momentum. So on the other hand, we also observe a bearish flag pattern, and this formed after a sharp downtrend between 3 and 11 March 2025, from 12 March to 2 April, and this price consolidates within a narrow range, forming the flags. On the 3 April, the price broke below the lower boundaries of the flag, confirming a bearish continuations and indicating increased selling pressure. These patterns are also important because they help us to understand investor behavior during consolidation phase and provide early signal of any potential reversal or continuations. For these sections, we cover two key technical overlay that we use to analyze SDG stock, where the 100-day as simple moving average SMA and the Bollinger Band. First, the 100-day SMA is a long-term trend indicator that helps smooth out short-term price fluctuations. And when the price stays above the SMA, it typically signals to an uptrend, which the SMA acting as a support level. Conversely, when the price falls below the SMA, it may indicate a downtrend, with the SMA acting as a resistance. On 30 June 2025, we observed a candlestick wick that touched the SMA line, which was at RM 4.73. This week suggests a volatility and a potential shift market sentiment. However, since the candle body closed below the SMA, this could be a false signal. For the existing investor, this might be a reason to hold and wait for the confirmations. Meanwhile, for the potential investor, it's advised to wait for the next candle before making any decision. So the next is about the Bollinger Band that help assess the market volatility. On the same day, the candlestick wick touched the upper band at RM 4.66, while the body remained below, and this indicates a possible overbought conditions and temporary price rejections. Again, this is not a confirmed breakout. For the existing investor, this could be a good time to consider of taking profits, especially if they are risk averse. For the potential investor, it's better to wait for a clearer signal, as entering at this point could mean buying at a relative high price. So now we move to the technical indicator and oscillator. For first one, starting with the DMI, Directional Movement Index. This indicator includes the three components, which is the Average Directional Index (ADX), and which measure the trend strength, and the plus DI and the minus DI, which indicate the bullish and the bearish momentum respectively. So on the 30 June 2025, the ADX was 14.16, which is indicate below the 20, suggesting a weak trend. And however, between 25 and 26 June, we saw a bullish crossover where the plus DI 21.88 moved above the minus DI 13.85, and this indicates the bullish momentum in the present, even though the overall trend strength remained low. For the existing investor, this suggested it's reasonably to hold their positions as the bullish signal is still intact. And for potential investor, it's better to wait since the trend is not yet strong enough to confirm a solid entry point. Moving on, the RSI, which is the Relative Strength Index, which measure the speed and the change of the price movement. On the same day, RSI stood at 53.98, which is in a neutral zone, neither overbought nor oversold. So this means that the stock is showing a balanced momentum for the existing investor. This is support as a whole strategy. Meanwhile, for the potential investor, may view this as a reasonable entry point since the stock is not currently overvalued or it may stay have a room to rise. So now we move to the MACD, and these tools help to identify any potential reversal and entry point. On 26 June 2025, we saw a bullish crossover, and where the MACD line negative 0.013 crossed above the signal line negative 0.021, and this crossover continued through 30 June, and the positive histogram suggests that bullish momentum is still present and no signals of reversal. However, it is important to note that the MACD line is still below the zero line, which typically signal to a weaker or cautious trend. For the existing investor, this is a reason to hold as there is no signal of any reversal yet. For a potential investor, it's better to wait for another MACD to move above the zero line for a stronger buy confirmations. Moving on to the stochastic oscillator, which measure the momentum. On 25 June, a bullish crossover occurred when the percent of K line crossed above the percent of D line. By the 30 June, the K lines was 67.86 and the D percent of D line at 48.54, both within the neutral zone, meaning that the stock is neither overbought nor oversold. For the existing investor, this is suggested a continuation of bullish momentum, so it's best to hold. Meanwhile, for the potential investor, this could be a reasonable entry point as this signal is bullish and the price is not considered overvalued.
So the second company that we choose in the plantation sector is Innoprice Plantation Berhad, which is listed in Bursa Malaysia with the stock code 6262. Innoprice is a Malaysian plantation company focused on cultivating oil palm and producing crude palm oil. The company was incorporated in 1993. It operates mainly in Sabah under its wholly owned subsidiary Consortium Rimba Sendirian Berhad, managing over 11,000 hectares of estate and one palm oil mill. Innoprice is also a subsidiary of Yayasan Sabah Group and practices sustainable agriculture. Its revenue mainly comes from processing fresh fruit bunches, supported by high yield and strong CPO prices. Comparison of performance between Innoprice and FBM KLCI from 1 July 2024 to 30 June 2025, Innoprice Plantation Berhad recorded a 23.24% increase in share price, while the FBM KLCI dropped by negative 4.08%. This shows Innoprice significantly outperformed the broader market. The strong uptrend was supported by record quarterly profit of 36.24 million, a 6.5 cent dividend, and positive sentiment around sustainable initiative and rising palm oil price. Although there was a short pullback from early December 2024 and early March 2025 due to profit taking and seasonal productions decline. The stock quickly recovered and hit new hikes by July 2025. Meanwhile, FBM KLCI's decline reflects broader economic concerns. Overall, Innoprice proved to be a strong and reliable investment during market volatility. Moving on to trend analysis, from August 2024 to July 2025, Innoprice showed a primary uptrend throughout the year, reflecting strong investor confidence. This was driven by rising crude palm oil and palm kernel prices, strong profit growth, revenue performance, and positive financial outlook. In quarterly 2024, the company recorded a net profit of 36.24 million, with full year profit up to 66% to 87.60 million and revenue reaching 277.78 million. The total dividend payout also increased to 15.55 cent, showing confidence in future earnings. Despite the overall uptrend, Innoprice faced secondary downtrends from December 2024 until January 2025 and also March until May 2025 due to market volatility and profit taking. However, the stock held above its long-term support, showing investors still had confidence in the company. Next, pattern analysis. Between November 2024 and February 2025, Price formed a bullish flag pattern, which is the continuation pattern. After a strong uptrend at the flagpole, the price entered a downward sloping correction, with declining volume signaling a consolidation phase. In February 2025, the price broke above the upper trend line with increased volume, confirming the pattern. This breakout marked a reversal of the short-term downtrend and the stock resumed its bullish momentum. So the first technical overlay that we use is simple moving average 100 days. The SMA 100 at 1.72 is below the current price of 1.74, reinforcing that the stock is in uptrend. The potential and existing investors are advised to buy the stock. The second technical overlay that we use is double moving average, which is a combination of 20 and 50 days. The 20 and 50 days SMA lines help identify short-term trends. As of July 2025, Price stock price is 1.74 ringgit, with SMA 20 at 1.74 and SMA 50 at 1.72. Since there's no crossover, the trend signal is neutral, so investors are advised to hold their position. So for the first technical indicator and oscillator is DMI. The ADX line has a value of 12.4987. The plus DI is 21.4251 and minus D1 is 18.3827. In this case, the ADX value of 12.4987 suggests a weak trend, with plus DI is slightly higher than the minus DI, indicating a bearish bias in the market. Investors are advised to sell current position. Next indicator is MACD. The MACD line value shows a value of 0, while the signal line shows a value of 0.001. The MACD indicator generates a trading signal based on the crossover between the MACD line and signal line. In this case, the MACD line was going to cross above the signal line, suggesting that investors should buy the stock. The third indicator is RSI. The RSI is a technical indicator used to measure the strength and momentum of a stock price movement. In this case, the RSI value is 52.06, which is in the neutral zone. This value shows the market is in bullish momentum. Investors are advised to buy the stock. The last indicator is stochastic. The K line is at 54.55% and the D line is at 56.06%. The K line, which is the faster moving signal, and the D line, which is the lower moving signal, remains in a neutral range. It means that the stock is neither overbought nor oversold. The K line is slightly below the D line. There is no crossover, suggesting that price may consolidate until a stronger momentum shift happen. The potential and existing investors are advised to hold the stock.
Now, I will tell the investment recommendation for each company and I will start from Kerjaya Prospect Group Berhad. For Kerjaya, most indicators suggest the same decision for both potential and existing investors, which is to hold the stock. However, the MACD shows a buy signal for potential investor, while existing investors are advised to hold. Overall, with one buy and five hold signal, the final decision is to hold the stock. For Sunway Construction Group Berhad, all six indicators, double moving average, Bollinger Band, MACD, RSI, DMI, and stochastic, show the same result, which is to hold. This means both potential and existing investor are advised to hold the stock. With 0 buy, 0 sell, and 6 hold signals, the final decision is to strongly hold the stock. For SD Guthrie Berhad, most indicators suggest a hold for both potential and existing investors. However, there are slight differences. The RSI and stochastic show a buy signal for potential investor but a hold for existing investor. Meanwhile, the Bollinger Band indicate hold for potential investor and sell for existing investor. Overall, with 2 buy, 1 sell, and 9 hold signals, the final decision is to hold the stock. For Innoprice Plantation Berhad, most indicators suggest a positive outlook. The SMA 100, MACD, and RSI show a buy signal, indicating a strong momentum. The double SMA and stochastic suggest a hold, while only the DMI shows a sell signal. With 3 buy, 1 sell, and 2 hold signals, the final decision is to strongly buy the stock. In conclusion, each company performed differently based on their industry and strategy. Kejaya Prospect and Sunway Construction grew steadily thanks to ongoing project. SD Guthrie stock went up strongly after rebranding and shifting focus to renewable energy. Innopress Plantation did the best, helped by good earnings and commodity prices. Most indicators suggest holding the stock except for Innopress, which show a strong buy signal. Overall, the market is cautiously optimistic. Thus, using both technical signals and news lead to a smarter investment choices in Bursa Malaysia. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you everyone for listening.